Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Tara, and we are going to talk about Star Trek Picard Season 1, Episode 4. It's called Absolute Candor. So, full spoilers for the episode, as always, and we'll get into this. So, I'm just going to say it. I think this is easily the weakest of the episodes so far, and pretty mediocre overall. So, I don't know how Tara's going to react to that statement.
I mean, the episode's a 10, but yeah, it's okay. There are some things I really like about it.
Yeah, it's just okay. But it's a 10. It's a 10.
Oh, easily a 10. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
We get more like emergency blank holograms.
We do.
These are pretty cool.
Yeah, we get the emergency decor hologram, I think it was.
Like he's like a concierge or something.
And Rios hates him, so that's the thing. Oh, he hates all the holograms, seemingly. So he's not been very favourable to any of them, really.
This one turns himself off, like as Rios enters the room. So. Yeah,
what did he do? Who did he hurt? He hurt him somehow. There was some romantic thing that went wrong. I'm sure of it.
Oh, maybe this is the wig one.
So this episode kind of splits into two, as the previous couple have, where we've got Picard's story and we've got on the cube, on the artifact, and we'll start with the artifact plot this week, I think, just because I want to get this out of the way because it's mostly shit. Like. These have always been the conflicted part of the plots because there's been some stuff I've liked where they've been working on the Borg, or the collective,
Yeah,
groups.
like all the lore that they're building up with all the Romulans.
Unfortunately, this episode almost had no lore, and it was almost entirely the quote-unquote romance between Narek and Soji, and it was pretty tedious, and it was all the worst parts of this plot, all the worst parts of this pairing, and nothing but that. It was just that for the entire subplot.
Yeah, plus we got the weird, like, sexual chemistry between him and his sister again.
Yeah, that was. I mean, she was on the bed with him. She was kind of like maneuvering all over him. There was maneuvering, right?
It was very Donnie and Marie Osmond. It was really gross.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. You're older than I am, but
they're like Baby Billy and Loretta. Oh, what was her name?
Oh, that wasn't Loretta.
In The Righteous Gemstones.
I know, but I can't. I wasn't Loretta though.
Something but they're like them. They were like a family singing troupe. Well, it's just the two of them. They paired off and they sang together. And they sometimes would sing songs that were like borderline romantic. It was at any point they looked like they would make out.
Okay. Well, yes, we get some weird. This comes at the end of the episode, though. Before we get to that, there's like the most like contrived romantic like scene I've ever one of like they have this thing where he's like, "Come with me," and Soji comes with him, and it's like, "I'm going to show you some Romulan or some Borg like rituals," and she's like, "Borg didn't have rituals," and I'm sitting here thinking, "Borg ritual? What's Borg ceremony? What? This doesn't feel right. This better not. What was he talking about?" And he ends up, he's just joking. He wants an excuse to show her a slidey room where they can slide around on their socks, and we have them sliding around, and it's kind of, it's not, do you know what it's trying to be? It's trying to be like the serene ice skating scene where the two people are falling in love as they're like ice skating around each other, but they're sliding just around the floor, and I'm like, this is so stupid. And it doesn't help that I hate him, and it doesn't help.
There's one thing in it that I really liked. When they're like walking down the hall towards it, and he's saying, "Yeah, you're gonna love it. There's this thing," and he sparks her curiosity because nothing's making sense, and she does this thing with her head. She goes, when she gets curious, which is a Data thing. That's what Data does. Like it's the same, like little head bob, like a bird does.
Yes,
that's what Data does.
Yes.
And it was just one of those things, like, oh yeah, she might be Data, or like some weird hybrid clone thing where Data's in there somewhere.
Okay, I will accept that small beat is like a nice little moment alluding to Data. However, I mean, like Data wouldn't always do this in a when something good was happening. In fact, given the context of this scene, this is like Tasha Yar leading Data to the bedroom, like being all confused.
He is fully functional.
He is fully functional. But no, this sliding around romantic scene, I thought it was laughably bad. I was like, this is the like I've not liked the romance between these two.
How dare you insult the great director Jonathan Frakes, who directed this episode?
He did. I did notice that, and I don't think it's his fault that it's bad. I think it's the script that's bad. I don't think that. I mean, I think the moment itself is bad.
I thought it was kind of cutesy. I just didn't think it was like. I'm just not into this relationship.
Yeah.
Mostly because I don't like him, and I know he's the villain, but like. I don't like him as a villain either.
But this is the worst part. I think part of what I don't like about this not only him, but him and his sister and their scheming behind the scenes, is that, I mean, I didn't really watch a lot of Game of Thrones because I hated it, but this is kind of what I imagined a lot of Game of Thrones was people scheming behind each other's backs and things like that.
That was like 80% of it.
Yeah, just 80. All right. And like I get that vibe from them, and then of course, yeah, he's lying in bed, and she comes in, and she's like, "I'll sit lying next to him," and kind of like putting her leg between his legs, and like, okay, but then a weird incest. And my biggest problem with this though isn't how weird it is or how incested. If they're going to be incested, then fine, like whatever. Like, they're incesty Romulans. We can add some new dimensions. I mean, this is your first Star Trek with proper incest in it. Unless there's something I don't know about. That was a weird episode of Enterprise. But no, is that it doesn't accomplish anything new. Like, we had that scene like last episode or the week before where they were in the hallway, and I was talking about how the Dutch angle was really extreme, and they had like the red fan behind them. It was like super, like, we're the villain scene talking to each other. Mm-hmm. This was basically the same scene, just in bed. And there was nothing new to it. There was nothing. It was do the thing right. And he's like, "Oh, I've planted it."
Circling around him this time and talking down to him, and she still just did the same thing, like, "Don't fall in love," and then she chokes him for a little while in the bed, which is
kinky,
icky.
Yes. So like, you know, it felt like it was the same thing where he says, "No, I've started something." It's just this time he said, "Oh, I've planted a seed," and which already. A little bit of sexual, just for the record. It's like, I've planted a seed. They're like, "Oh, have you now? Yes, you've been planting seeds all over the place." Right, but he says that, and she's like, "Oh, a seed. Oh, so impressive." And it's just like, yeah, this is the same as last time. Like, you've moved almost no further.
There is an interaction between them that is interesting though, because she brings up the idea of, you know, don't forget that. She's here for a reason too, so she might be leading you, and which is interesting because he also brings up during that little ice skating romance scene that he looked up her record, and there is no record of her being on the ship that she said she was on. So, yeah, like she thinks that she's there of her own free will, but clearly, like, someone has programmed her to be on the ship to have this job, and the other one was programmed to go to the Daystrom Institute.
Oh yeah,
so
but
someone is planning. Like, she's a plant there. Like,
oh yeah, but that's
it. I don't know. I just didn't consider it before.
Yeah, but that's not new. We knew this. We knew that, like, Daj's life was only a few years old, and all of her background was all made up. So we assume it was the same for her.
For some reason, like, it didn't cross my mind. Like, oh, she's been planted here on purpose. Like, she might be going through a program as well, and just going through the motions. Because I still think that she's. You know, she has free will for some reason, but maybe she's not. Maybe she's doing everything she's been programmed to do.
Yeah, but I'm not like, the actual revelation of that isn't a revelation. It's something that's already heavily been kind of hinted at just based on the other character. I guess
I could have figured it out in earlier episodes, but I didn't until they brought it up. And I'm glad that they did. So now that I have that in my head going forward.
The only thing it's really done is by pointing it out, it makes it go, okay, so maybe they're implying that Maddox has a particular plan in mind. And maybe it has to do with the Romulans, maybe not, but like, this was such a small nugget in a series of scenes that offered very little of substance that we didn't already have in some capacity, and not only no substance, but we're very cliched as well. On top of that, you know, we cliche romance.
It was kind of cool seeing the Borg, more of the Borg cube, like just more areas and stuff, because it is like a more modern design of a Borg cube. Like, it's familiar enough, but it's a lot sleeker than what we've seen before. I don't know. That was kind of neat. Yeah. I don't want to hate on the show, okay?
I know you're desperately looking for negatives.
We can be good cop, bad cop, all right? And it's clear where the line is drawn.
You're desperately looking for positives to fight me on, but I think this entire subplot was basically worthless and cliched. And the episode already felt shorter and has less in it than the previous episodes. I think this will be easily the shortest discussion we've had out of the episodes, because I don't think the episode offers that much overall compared to the other ones. Because the other plot is basically just to introduce a new character, right? It's to introduce how we know this Romulan that's going to come with Picard. It's this warrior Romulan who's been raised by a typical all-female, like, warrior nun clan of Romulans.
Romulan warrior nuns.
Yes. And Picard, because once again we open with a flashback. We keep opening a flashback of this, events surrounding this synth attack on Mars, and this time it's where Picard was in this time, and he was with some of the earlier refugees of Romulus, and he's here to visit this nun and also this young boy that's living with them, because obviously right now they're in a time of everyone great confusion. This boy has no parents right now, so he's staying with them. The plan is to eventually get him somewhere more suitable, like a foster home, be adopted by another Romulan family, whatever it may be. And this is like a new settlement on this planet. And we see that he fences with the boy. He's brought him a book, and he jokes with the other. There's a little joke here where she's like, "Oh, promises are prisons, and do not be enslaved to someone else's word." And then Picard's like, "Well, I promised you last time that I'd bring you this thing, but since promises are a prison, I'll just take this back."
Hasperat, which is I think Hasperat is a Bajoran herb that's like, I always assumed it was like wasabi.
Sure, yeah. I assumed it was some sort of food thing. Yeah, I assumed it was some sort of delicate food thing that necessarily didn't grow like here, and that's why it was exciting. And of course, he gets the news just before he leaves that there's been what attack on Mars on the shipyard, and that's kind of we get this context.
We get a little montage also of Picard and this young boy like bonding together and fencing, and he's like an orphan kid who's not supposed to be with all those women, because they're not supposed to have males in their group.
Yeah, this was like a flipped Wonder Woman, where it's like the all-women society, but it was a young boy instead of Diana. So it was like kind of this like flip thing. It was almost like, what if Steve Trevor was the one who was raised on Themyscira? And I know I'm doing comic book references. I know I'm a nerd. Yeah. I say to the Star Trek fan.
Nerd. No one here is gonna call you a nerd if they're watching a Star Trek show.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Different nerd.
You're in good company.
But different nerd fandoms do get snooty about different nerds. Like,
it's true. I am like way above the tier of wherever anime is.
Yeah, exactly.
Those nerds are the worst.
We both hate anime, right? So whenever an anime comes up, we pretend like we are like upper class and that the anime fans are dirt. And we don't mean any offense. If you're an anime fan watching this, like, it's all good. Like, enjoy your anime, no hard feelings. But
just let us have this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. But like, I have no doubt that if I make a comic book reference, like a deep cut comic reference, that there's some Trekkies watching this going, "Oh, he reads comic books.
Gross.
Such a mainstream nerd."
Yeah, I really have to like. It's a chore to read a comic. Like, I still haven't read the Picard ones, even though I own them. And it would be so helpful for the show.
Yeah, I read a lot of comics, so, that's fine. Whatever.
You read them then. You read the Picard ones. Come prepared next week.
Come prepared, read the Picard comics. How many has there been?
3.
Well, that's not too bad, actually. I could read 3 comics for next week. I could do that.
I read the first page. LaForge is in it.
Yeah, so the reason why we see this, and it is important, because last week I had a problem with the flashback, because I thought the flashback with Raffi didn't really give much to the episode. I think this one did, even though some of it was a little bit cheesy, because it was like establishing this relationship with the young boy. It was very sort of movie flashback. Let's establish that he's got this relationship with someone. So that part was a little bit cheesy, but it was important because later on in the episode, when he goes back to this planet, to see how much it's changed. Because when he arrives on the planet later, because when he arrives in this flashback, he's got his Alan Grant hat on. Everyone comes up and runs to him.
Actually, I caught up on Curb Your Enthusiasm this week, and he's dressed just like Larry David at a wedding. For the episode that came out this week.
Damn it, I need to catch up. I'm only halfway through season 9, damn it.
Get on it.
I know, there's so much to do. Right, but he, everyone runs up to him and greets him. They're all happy to see him. It's like a celebrity walking into town, and everyone's delighted. And then when he shows up later, it's like it's turned. It's you know what it's like? It's like in Back to the Future when you see Hill Valley in the 50s and it's all bright and hopeful, but then you see it in the 80s, it's all graffiti and like run down and like it's a shithole now.
Because Biff got the almanac.
Because Biff got the almanac, yeah. That's what happened here. So the flashback was important.
The flashback scene it's okay. Like there's something about Picard. He's so different from when he used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like even his attitude towards kids is so different, which they bring up in the flashback. So like seeing him have this relationship with the kid, like it's sweet and all. It doesn't feel very Picard, but to be honest, a lot has happened to him, so it makes sense that he would be different. And I do think it's kind of funny but sad that he gets the call to leave to go respond to this crisis, where he tells them all right, I'll be back, don't worry, I won't forget you. I won't forget you, little kid. Well, my surrogate son. And then he like leaves to go buy a pack of cigarettes and never comes back,
Well, here's what's good about this, right? In terms of the drama and why this flashback actually adds a lot to this, is one, hearing him actually make these promises directly to Romulans is a big deal. It makes it feel more personal. So knowing that he has to break it,
right away, we know from the last flashback that he puts in his resignation, so he's not able to go back there.
Well, and that's the other side to this, is that we can actually critique Picard for this. We can actually sort of say he actually did make a bad, like he did something bad. He basically threw his toys in the playpen and said, "No, I'm not playing anymore," and that actually meant he wasn't helping anyone. As someone puts it in this,
prisons.
As someone put it in this episode, he chose because he couldn't save everyone to save no one. That's essentially what he did. And we can criticize and say, no, that this is a flaw. He should feel guilty about this. He did something fundamentally unheroic in making that choice. And I think this flashback kind of really sort of highlights that and really makes it clear. That and him returning later in the episode to the planet. So there's that. I will say, like, whatever this like nun tribe were called, it was more Romulan, like fantasy sounding pish in terms of a name. It was like
they're called the Gallimimus tribe. Caligula.
Do you know the problem is that more and more they're making Romulans look like elves, and I'm like, don't do this because I hate elves. I hate fantasy shit. Don't do it.
Well, this planet also looks so different from any of the Romulan stuff we've seen before. Yes. It is very fantasy-like. It looks like they're in Rivendell.
Although, I will say this.
It doesn't look like they're on Romulus.
I will say this, though. See when it cut to the planet, right? So like Picard's saying he's going down, and it cuts to the planet, and it comes up with the name of the planet, and the music comes in. The music that came in was like a guitar, right? What do you think I thought of when it cut to a dusty planet with an acoustic guitar playing? Right, it cut from a ship to a dusty planet with an acoustic guitar playing with the title of the planet coming up. What thing do you make that made me think of?
Are you going to say Firefly?
Of course I'm going to say Firefly. That was so Firefly that moment.
That garbage show, you would bring up that garbage television in my 10 out of 10 Star Trek Picard. How dare you? How dare you dirty up my review?
Firefly is better than Next Gen, so don't even try and argue with
this. If it was, it would have had 7 seasons.
No, that's because Fox had it out of order. Don't turn me into.
Oh sure, yeah. Blame it on Fox.
Like, no, you're trying to bait me, and I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Look at me, I'm the captain now.
Firefly was too good for this world. Okay.
Yep. Sure.
I hate you so much right now. I hate you so much right now. No, that was a 10. Firefly was a 10. Out of Gas, the Firefly episode, that is a goddamn 10. Are we just going to sit here awkwardly while you don't budge at all?
I think we should move on.
Stop playing with whatever you're playing with. It's maybe being very noisy in the mic.
Sorry.
Be very unprofessional, as well as having garbage opinions.
It's okay.
I wasn't even trying to compare quality. All I was trying to do was say that a little moment reminded me of Firefly. And you had to throw in, you had to just go, that garbage show. You just had to go down that path.
Yep.
Stop playing with the thing! You're still making noises!
Okay. It's out of my hands. We can move on. I've thrown it away. It's trash now, just like season 2 of Firefly. It's garbage. It's never coming back.
Anyway, let's go back to the start of Picard's plot. There's a hollow room of his study from the vineyard, which I guess just because we want to keep using this set is the real reason.
We paid a lot of money for it.
Yeah. Also, actually, here's a question: did they ever like change the rules in the course of like the Star Trek shows about transporters working? Because I felt like at the start when he gets beamed up from the planet, he does it. It happens as he's walking downstairs, and all I could feel was like I know the reason why it used to be because they had to stand still was for the effect. Because back how they used to do it in the old shows was that they had to stand still. But like, was there a transition to now the technology's advanced so we can. We can just do it while they're walking again, because he's like, I want to beam up, and he's like walking downstairs, and he beams up as he's walking, and it looks cooler, obviously, because it's like, but I don't know,
I don't know either.
It stuck out to me.
They've beamed people out while like falling through the sky.
Yeah, but they always make a big deal of it, like it's really hard. They'll be like, oh, I'm trying as hard as I can, Captain, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that is more of a JJ thing too. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
And what happens when he beams to the other location? Like, is he like halfway walking down a step as he beams into the other location? Like, how does his movement track from one place to the other?
I guess the momentum goes away, but what does that do to your body? I guess it doesn't matter since they're all murder machines anyway.
I feel like he would just like collapse because his footing would be like as if he's going downstairs and he'd land on flat ground and just fall over. But anyway.
Yeah, like if you're going downstairs at night, like, and you don't realize where the last step is, and you kind of like keep going.
Yeah, exactly. It would be like that.
And he's an old man. Like 113 or something.
Yeah, he points that out. He points out he's an old man. That's why he's this young elf hunk to fight his battles for him. Anyway, so he has a scene with the hologram dude, and Raffi's trying to talk him out of going to this place. There's a little bit of character building with Jurati like joking around, like saying she's bored and how there's nothing to do. And I thought there was going to be a porn joke here, bizarrely, because she says, "Oh, I was going to watch a holo, but the only thing you had was Klingon." And I thought she was going to say like not necessarily the word porn, but like Klingon erotica or something like that. I thought that was going to be the joke, and it wasn't. It was like Klingon. Like rituals.
Maybe he's
or
into
something.
the two dicks. Klingons have two.
Has that been brought up yet? Where I am?
In Discovery.
Okay.
Remember the drunken Klingon guy, and you see two streams coming out of him.
Oh, I don't remember that, but okay, fair enough. Klingons have two dicks. I'll keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
I wonder if they have a complex if like one of them is smaller.
Maybe that can happen though. Maybe they're always the exact same length.
Maybe.
Or maybe one is always smaller than the other one.
We should find out more.
Like maybe the one underneath is always smaller because when it
so that they line up.
So when they sort of like go like when they sort of like that. So that the one underneath is smaller.
This is the most important conversation we've ever had about Star Trek.
Oh dear. So where was I? Okay, so
oh yeah, it seems a little bit like maybe there's going to be like a thing between the two of them. Do you think they're setting something up? I don't know if I want it.
I don't know if they're setting something up. I felt like this because she was talking about how she's in space for the first time. It was kind of boring, and she was doing that kind of like that cute sciencey rambling thing where she's getting really nerdy and boring, but it's kind of cute that she's getting really nerdy and boring because she realizes it and tries to like talk her way out of it, like
Yeah.
So she's talking about how space is space and it's all empty, but technically no. I mean, think about how much there's actually in the planet. There's all these galaxies full of all these planets and yada yada yada. But then Raffi gets really upset because Picard wants to make a pit stop at this planet with the Romulans, which is the whole episode. Like, this trip to this planet, and there's some stuff that comes up about how there's like a shielding on the planet that only opens up, and you have to get a request. And there's more of Picard's hubris because he's like, "Oh, just tell him it's me that's here," and like, "Oh, we tried that. They weren't interested." He's like, "Oh well then." Oh. Very well. I was a rock star the last time I came here. So they pay their way in, and yeah, so he goes down, and he, there's a big moment when he meets the kid who's now obviously like 20 or whatever, to be 24 or something like that, because he was like what 8 or something in the flashback,
something like that.
So he's like 22,
he was pretty young.
Yeah. So he comes out and he looks like he's cosplaying Legolas from Lord of the Rings. He's got the long hair and
he looks great. I was surprised at the accent.
Okay.
Wait, you don't think he looks good? He looks great.
He looks like a little elf bitch. Let's just call it what it is.
I'm pretty sure that other Romulan guy wouldn't have called him that. Or maybe he did.
Well,
and then got his head lopped off.
Yeah, the one he decapitates, yeah. So we meet him. Picard like wants to enlist him, and he explains the predicament that they're in, and he's like, "Nope, you abandoned me. You never came back, and you never bothered. You never saved anyone else here. You just abandoned us." And he's right. Picard really did do all this. So I do like the redemptive element of Picard. But the thing with this episode is, though, is it's because all the time it's spent on is the crappy subplot, which I don't think worked very well this week, and then this plot, which is fine in terms of like what it does. I like that they recruit this person. I like that they give him an introduction. I like that we've got such a weird crew now that we're building up episode by episode, and the various characters that they all are. I like that part of it. I like that it's essentially, I mean, the joke's about him looking like an elf aside, because he does look like an elf. What he actually functions as, though, is more a samurai. He feels like a Romulan samurai.
He does, yeah. Yeah, he does. And he's sort of like our new Wesley Crusher as well, because he's kind of a kid in a crew of a bunch of old guys.
Don't say that. But, I mean, Alison Pill's not that old. That feels a bit mean to her. But, I did
Is she not?
She's not that old. Well, I think so anyway. She was... Like, she's probably half the age of Patrick Stewart.
I'm checking.
You're checking, okay. I don't think... I mean, Raffi's probably not that old either. I mean, she's older than Alison Pill is, but she's probably not close to Picard age. She looks like a mid-50s lady. I say that with respect.
Alison Pill is my age.
Oh, that's really funny.
Raffi is... She's born 66.
Yeah, so she's in her 50s. She's like 54 this year. Nailed it. Oh, that's so good. You're sitting there saying, nah, she's old. Like, yeah, she's old. Well, she's my age.
Some of us don't age as gracefully.
That's your excuse. Poor Alison Pill being dragged through the mud here, only to discover.
Not everyone's gonna know how old I am.
I don't.
I'm pretty sure people have figured it out by all the jokes you make already.
For the record, I do not think that you or Alison Pill are old, right? Let me make that very clear. I crack a few jokes because you get a little rolly-eyed at me, and it's funny to enact that, okay?
I'm medium old, okay?
So Elnor is this new character. Elnor is his name, and that's the thing. I hate the name. All these Romulan names are so fantasy. Like I hate them with a passion. But whatever.
I mean, so much of Star Trek has that kind of element, though. Like, are goblins not the Ferengi? Orcs not the Klingons? Yeah, Romulans are the dark elves, and then Vulcans are the elves, like high elves.
Yes, but here's the thing. They've made all them better by turning them into what they are in Star Trek. They're all better, right? I think Romulans are at least in this show, are the closest to actually just being straight up elves, that they're easily my least favourite race. Easily.
That's true. I don't know what the Cardassians are, but they should come back somehow in a big way.
Yeah. So anyway, like, so, you know, Elnor jumps in, and I do. This is the other problem I have with the episode, is I do think the situation that leads to him sort of showing up and like accepting Picard's offer and how he makes his entrance. I think to have that, we have this really like, I don't know, kind of contrived scene where Picard like feels the need, because there's a sign on this little cafe that says Romulans only, and Picard doesn't like it. So when he's coming back out to get beamed back up into the, why he has to go back out of the center of the town to get beamed out, I'm not entirely sure, but he rips off the sign and, you know, takes a seat, and he's been very provocative. You know, he's kind of sort of making a statement.
He's doing it on purpose.
Yeah. And I wasn't really sure why. Like, I wasn't really sure why he was trying to provoke some kind of fight or like try and make some sort of statement, especially since, as we mentioned earlier, he is kind of guilty for abandoning these people. So, you know, and then this Romulan comes up to him and says, "Hey, I was like this, you know, senator or whatever he was, or, you know, he was someone high up in the Romulan council, before, you know, the fall of Romulus," and he basically picks a fight with Picard, and Picard tries to like say, and he even addresses him by his title, and he tries to treat him with respect, but the guy's like, no, we're going to have a sword fight, and he like forces him to take a sword, and Picard, you know, tries to back out of it, and this is the part that felt like Picard, when Picard says, no, I don't want this, and he throws the sword down. That felt like Picard.
Yeah.
But I felt like, what were you expecting? Like, you were pushing their buttons.
I think he was expecting for Elnor to show up and defend his honor and join his cause. I think that's why he was doing it.
Okay.
You don't think so?
I guess. I just, the whole
Maybe
thing.
it comes from like the Three Musketeers or something. Like it's straight out of that. I haven't read that book, so.
Yeah, because that's what
I don't know.
That's what he was reading them earlier on. Yeah, you're right. So, I don't know. The whole thing felt a little bit contrived to me, and it felt like it was forced for the sake of having the scene. And it felt like, again, Picard's age really playing a factor here. I mean, I guess, okay, maybe he's putting himself in a predicament so that Elnor will come and save him, but I don't know. It didn't.
I just always thought that from like he's trying to put himself in danger so that Elnor has to come out and protect him.
Isn't this kind of manipulative though? Then.
Yeah.
Okay, this is as long as we agree on that then.
I don't think that's above Picard.
Okay. All right. I wasn't super into this scene though, at least for the most part. I mean, decapitation was fine. I did like Picard telling him afterwards,
like
hey,
the little like chartreuse green line before we get the head falling off. Like, oh yeah, green blood.
But I do like Picard afterwards saying, hey, that guy did not deserve to die. If you're going to kill someone, you have to clear it with me. You know, you do not act unless it needs to be done. You know, you don't just go willy-nilly. And he says he understands. And so, you know, we have this new member. So I do enjoy the building the crew element. I do feel like, though, that what we had here was maybe half of an episode stretched out to an episode. And I felt that, you know, because the entire subplot felt like it was just a retread of what we'd already had.
But it does end with a bang.
It does end with a bang. We do have, of course, some ships show up to try and attack them. And there's I
love that it's the old Romulan bird of prey. From Balance of Terror type of episode.
Yeah, so they get attacked, and they're trying to evade and, you know, fire and whatever, but it's not going that well. I do like there's a little touch here where Picard yells an order, and like Rios looks over at him and he's like, "Oh, sorry, yes, you make orders, yes."
Open a channel.
Yes.
Sorry.
But
you do it.
Yeah, so there's a friendly ship who's saved them, but is now going to be in danger and go into this force field in the planet that's going to kill them, and whatever. So Picard's like, open a channel. We have this little moment where he's like, yes, open a channel. And then they beam whoever's on board at the last possible second, because we see the ship blow up, and then they beam on board. And obviously I'm sitting, okay, so who is this? Who is this going to be? And it's 7 of 9. 7 of 9 appears. And that's kind of the cliffhanger at the end of the episode. I will say I was surprised when the credits rolled, because I thought, oh wait, I mean, even though this feels like a big moment, I was like, oh, the episode's over? Because I didn't feel like I'd gotten a full story out of the episode. So I think that's kind of where my complaints come from, is that not only did I hate the subplot, the B plot, I didn't feel like I got a full story out of it. I felt like I got part of a story out of it.
Well, I mean, I think it was trying to be like an old TNG episode with Picard going onto a planet, having to be a diplomat in a way again, and work his speech magic to get what he needs. for the greater good.
And obviously
But,
it's a serialized show, so I'm not, obviously when I say I only get a part of a story, what I mean is I only get part of a chapter, because even a good chapter of an overall story will still have a sort of full, you feel like you got a full meal, you feel like you got a beginning, middle, and end, and it told you something, it told you, I'll give you an arc. This I felt less so.
It was interesting that the Romulans, because there's no like main government anymore, Romulans are so spread out and an endangered species now, that there's room for like crime to increase.
Mm-hmm.
So like the background we sort of get about like these people who have taken this bird of prey and are like gone rogue and stuff with this old ship and starting to attack and like manipulate people, or like the idea of Romulan mobs is exciting to me. I want to see those. But I mean, I think there's still a lot here that I like, that, it's still a 10. And I think it ends on a high note to see Seven again, and she looks amazing. Happy to see Jerry Ryan. Not that I didn't know she was going to be here,
Yeah, obviously. We knew she was popping up at some point.
Yeah.
So.
Although I was surprised to see her at the end. I didn't know who was going to be above her.
So should I rate it as well, just so there's an actual proper rating?
No, I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah, well, it's like a 5.5.
Well, I mean, we all know that your scale is flawed because you gave Firefly a 10.
Oh dear. So that was Picard, episode 4, weak episode, but hopefully it bounces back next time. As much as Tara can't see anything but glitter and glamour in front of her when it comes to Trek. But let us know what you thought of the episode.
Was so pretty.
Let us know what you think of the episode in the comments, like and subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mail_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the show and the channel and everything we do here, you can head over to patreon.com, can't you, Tara?
Yeah, you can check out our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/MalfuzzTV, and donate as little as $1 per month will get you bonus episodes of our science fiction show, The ACE, the Atomic Cinema Experiment. You can check out our catalog of B movies that we have been reviewing, and some ACE ones too, like Time Cop. I think that's a pretty good movie. That's beyond B movie.
Mm-hmm.
And also just bonus things that we cut out, like our discussion of the 2010 Oscars in review, which is going to go up at some point. You can watch that for $1.
Oh, yeah, on Patreon.
I'd buy that for $1.
So yeah, that is Picard. Obviously, you can also support us by rating the podcast on Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars and a little review. Helps more people find us. And yeah, otherwise, check out the content we have, such as the weekly Star Trek reviews that me and Connor do. We're working through Next Generation. We just finished season 2. We're about to start season 3, so that's super exciting. We've done the entire original series.
Yeah,
so
season 3, you should be excited.
I'm excited to get into some juicy stuff. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching Star Trek, guys. And to everyone but Connor, live long and prosper.